CatSynth TV.
Hey everybody, CatSynth TV, and today we are looking at the Waverazor virtual synthesizer from MOK. It is a powerful and complex instrument with a unique oscillator design. The first thing one notices is the central circular element, which primarily functions as an oscilloscope for the sounds currently playing. You can zoom in and out horizontally and vertically using the arrow buttons on the edge of the circle. And you can use the pause button at the bottom of the circle to freeze the oscilloscope. The main circle can also be used to view each of the oscillators and their associated waveform structures. More on that later. Surrounding the central circle are several macro controls that are programmable per patch, including these XY coordinate controls, along with several rotary knobs. There are even controls to change both the UI theme and the language of the Waverazor. Let's look at a couple of the color themes. Some very retro-looking ones here. Let's go to this blue. And let's change the language. What's really fun is they actually have Klingon on this list. Okay, but let's change back to the default theme for the next part of this demo. Okay, let's explore some of the presets that show what this instrument has to offer, starting with some in the default bank. There is also a second bank of presets that includes sounds designed by Richard Devine. Okay, we're now going to try creating our own sounds, starting with one of the default templates. This template just has some basic sine waves. Let's turn off oscillators 2 and 3 so we can focus on oscillator 1. As mentioned earlier, you can press the triangle next to an associated oscillator to bring up the waveform editor in the main circle. You can select different waveform segments using these controls around the edge that are arranged in counterclockwise order. Let's start with section 3. You can hit this triangle wave button to select both a wave type and individual selection. Let's choose square. Alright, you can already hear that there's a different quality to the sound. Let's try changing segment 2. We'll change its waveform to exponential, and we're going to choose exponential type 3. There are also controls to change the pitch and amplitude of the wave segment, as well as its phase. Okay, that looks like an interesting one. Let's listen to that. Okay, we're now going to go and open up the parameter editor. The upper central part of the display has the overall synthesizer architecture, starting with the controls, the oscillators, which are then mixed into the filter section, and then downstream to the amplifier and effects. The largest part of the display is what's called the focus area, which shows the particular segment of the synthesizer and its associated parameters. There is also an input segment to the left, which shows the various inputs to the focus area, in this case modulation sources, and the output, in this case the oscillator mixer. Okay, I'm now going to switch to the matrix where you can set up different controllers to modify different parameters. We're going to use this segment of the menu and pull down the thing to add a new 1x1 matrix route. And we're going to set the control to be one of those XYs, the first one, the X parameter, and we're going to set it to waveform 2's phase. All right, now let's create another route, and we're going to use the Y-axis of the first XY controller. And we're going to set that to change the waveform of wave segment 2 in real time, which is kind of a cool thing to be able to do. Okay, now let's pop back to the main view and listen to what we've created so far. As you can see, just setting up this X and Y parameter to control the waveform adds a lot of richness to the sound. Okay, now let's go back to the synthesizer view. Let's see, it's over here. And we're going to edit filter number 1. As you can see, this brings up the filter in the focus area. You can see its inputs, the oscillator mixer, and its outputs, the main mixer. Let's set the type of this filter to biquad. Even without modulation, it's already adding an analog-like quality to the sound. Okay, now let's set up the second XY controller to control the filter. We'll go back to the matrix, create a new route. Let's select the x-axis of vector 2. And we'll apply it to the cutoff parameter of filter 1. Now let's create one more route and do the same thing with the y-axis of vector 2. And we'll use that to control the Q parameter of the filter. Okay, now let's hear everything together. This new patch is quite simple but has a lot of potential, so let's save it. Of course, it takes a lot of work to construct sounds of the quality and complexity of those that come in the factory presets. Let's hear a few more of them before we close. Once again, we're going to use one of the alternate themes and the Klingon text. This concludes our demo of the Waverazor. For more information, please visit MOK.com and check out the description below this video. Thanks for watching. Check out more at www.catsynth.com and please subscribe to CatSynth TV.